Questions Anonymous by Teens, 2023 edition. Hi, my name is Melissa Robbins. I'm the director of Hope Place Fordyce, a pregnancy and family resource center located in Fordyce, Arkansas, and I had the privilege to teach fetal development in a high school classroom, and these were the questions I received. And I am on my last question. I cannot believe I'm already through all of them. So this one is the very basic question of, how can I get pregnant? Like, how does that even happen? So, usually in health class, you learn these kind of things, but if you don't, the very short answer is sex. That's the very short answer. Sex is how you get pregnant. The very purpose of sex is to procreate. And so that is the very biological purpose of having sex, is to procreate and have babies. But a lot of people, the byproduct or a enjoyable part of sexual activity is usually the pleasure side of it, but that is not the purpose of sex. The very biological purpose of sex is to procreate. And so my kind of saying in this work that I do is, it stands to reason, if the very purpose of sex is to procreate, that if you're not ready, if you're at a place in your life where you are not ready to procreate and to have a baby, then it stands to reason that it may be wise to abstain from sexual activity until you are at a place in your life where you are ready to procreate. Because there is no 100% way to prevent pregnancy if you are sexually active, because the biological purpose of sexual activity is to procreate. But how you get pregnant, getting into the nitty gritty, is men, they produce semen in their sex organs. Women produce eggs. And women are born with all of the eggs they will ever have. But during a woman's cycle, she will release from her ovaries 1 or 2 eggs into her fallopian tubes every single month during ovulation. And it's just a part of her cycle. Every single month or every single cycle, every woman's cycle is unique. I've talked about that in a previous video. She will release an egg during ovulation, and if that egg is not fertilized, that egg will be expelled during her menstrual period. But if it is fertilized with semen through vaginal sex, that is when the semen fertilizes the egg. And when the egg gets fertilized, it quickly becomes a blastocyst. And that's when all the cells in there, as soon as that semen enters into that egg, that splitting of the cells happens instantaneously. And it just multiplies and multiplies and multiplies, and it's doing that while the egg is traveling down the fallopian tube. And once that egg reaches the uterus, and it is a blastocyst at this point, it implants into the lining of the uterine wall, and that is when it becomes an embryo, and it'll start developing the placenta and the umbilical cord, and then it starts looking less like a clump of cells pretty quickly. I think it was around 4 or 5 weeks that you start seeing structures, and by 8, 9, 10 weeks, it does look like a little human with the features that a little human would have, a little human baby would have. And so pregnancy can happen really quick. Most women don't know they're pregnant until 5 or 6 weeks after the start of their last period. And at that point, in a pregnancy test, as I mentioned before, cannot pick up a pregnancy until HCG levels are high enough for it to be detected in the urine. And HCG levels don't start producing until that blastocyst implants into the uterine wall. And that is when the HCG levels start increasing, and those start increasing and increasing as the pregnancy continues. Your HCG levels continue to rise, but it rises to the point of being able to be detected by a pregnancy test, usually right around that, and it's usually right after a woman realizes, oh, I've missed my period. Like, I'm not having a period, and usually I have a period by now, and my period's late. She takes a pregnancy test, and that's usually when it's at that point where the HCG levels are high enough. The embryo is already implanted into the uterine wall at that point, and so the HCG levels can be detected by a pregnancy test. So I hope that answers your question. Bye.